What's up guys, it's Lonely MMA, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 most random / undeserved title shots in UFC history. Because we as UFC fans all know the rankings don't mean jack shit anymore, and anyone can get a title shot if they're on Dana White's good side. And that's what I think leads to these title shots. And after putting together this list, I realized a lot of these don't go well for the challenger. Without further ado though, let's get straight into it. Coming in at number 5, I got Sean Strickland's first title shot against Israel Adesanya. Now at the time, Adesanya was supposed to fight Dricus after his win against Robert Whittaker at UFC 290, but I guess Dricus wanted more time. And you would think because Adesanya did fight in April of that year that he would take off a little bit more time. It's whatever, he can take off like 10 months, 8 months, 9 months to wait and fight Dricus, but he wanted to stay pretty active, and it led to a pretty random title shot in which led to Sean Strickland getting a chance to win the belt. Now obviously Sean Strickland himself isn't a pretty random fighter, he was still known at the time, but at the time he was on a 2-fight win streak, but both those wins were pretty odd because one of them took place at light heavyweight on like a week's notice against Imavov, and the other one was just him beating an unranked Abu Magomedov. And also another factor that added to the randomness of Strickland getting the shot and not really a lot of people expecting it was the fact that he did fight Abu Magomedov in July, and then his title shot was in September. So he actually had a really quick turnaround to get his title shot. And also you will see as this list goes on, Strickland is the rare exception of these random or undeserved title shots actually ending well for the challenger. But moving on, at number 4 we got UFC 301 when the number 10th ranked Steve Erceg got a title shot against Pantoja. Like when you really look into this one, it makes absolutely no sense, and the only plausible explanation is that they really wanted Pantoja on the card and they didn't have any other main event, because I can almost guarantee they originally planned that Pereira be on this card and be the main event, but they needed a replacement for UFC 300 when they couldn't find another main event for that card. And UFC 301 did take place in Brazil, so obviously they needed a Brazilian to be the main event. And real ones remember, this card was one of the most dog shit pay-per-views we've had in a long time, but actually funnily enough, Steve Erceg showed up to fight this day. Undeserved title shot or not, you could even make an argument that Steve Erceg won the fight and was robbed. But when you really look into Steve Erceg's wins before he got this shot, you just start sitting there asking how the fuck did this even happen, because at that moment Steve Erceg didn't have a single win in the top 5, and he was only on a 3-fight win streak inside the UFC. And only one of those wins came by knockout. And holy shit, side note, real ones remember Steve Erceg showed up to the photo shoot for this fight looking like a fucking Best Buy employee about to ask me if I want some shitty warranty with my computer I'm purchasing. Next though, coming in at number 3, we got Sean O'Malley's title shot against Merab at UFC 316. Holy fuck, I don't think the UFC had ever had a more out of touch moment than when they gave Sean O'Malley this title shot. Because I guarantee they put this one together thinking all the fans would be like, oh my god, we love Sean O'Malley, he's getting another title shot. Who wants to fuck my wife tonight? Sugar Show gets another title shot, baby. But in reality, everyone with half a brain cell was just like, what are we doing? The dude just got dominated in one of the most boring fights ever. What do you think's gonna happen in the rematch? And then Sean O'Malley goes out there in the rematch and not only loses again in an uncompetitive fight, this time he actually gets finished. And if you really think about it, this has been the only time when a champion who only defended their belt once, or not at all, got an immediate title shot after losing their belt. And just due to how uncompetitive the first fight was, it really made no sense at all. Like, yeah, I could understand if it was a really close barn burner of a fight. I could see them being like, alright, let's give this one another go because Sean O'Malley's a big name. But no, the first fight absolutely blew. And now coming in at number 2, this one's sort of a similar story to the last one where the UFC just really tried to push someone hard into becoming a champion and it just totally backfired. And it's the Volk Diego Lopes rematch, because that one absolutely had no business happening. Because as we all know, the first fight wasn't really competitive at all, and the second fight was a straight up carbon copy of the first fight. And now the reason why I put this one over the Sean O'Malley one though is because there were clear contenders at the time who were way more deserving of the title shot. For example, there was Movzar, a dude who literally beat Diego Lopes before. he could have gotten the title shot, and that would have made perfect sense. Or the Lerone Murphy title shot. Lerone Murphy was coming off one of the best KOs of the year, and that one really did honestly piss me off because Volk doesn't have many fights left, and he's an absolute legend, and wasting one of his last few fights on a fight like that is just fucking absurd. Like, I'm sure more people were probably interested in that Bob Menery versus Johnny Manziel fight than they were for this rematch. But before I get to number one, I do just want to say it's probably not what you're thinking. It's not the Stipe title shot against John Jones. Now, I completely understand that was one of the wildest title shots ever, but it did make a little bit of sense in the fact that it was originally booked for UFC 295 and the fight eventually fell out with John Jones getting hurt. So I could see the angle of the UFC already promised Stipe they would give him this fight, so it was happening one way or another. And really what threw everything off was just the fact that John Jones refused to fight Tom Aspinall after. Like, I do think that if John Jones already guaranteed that if he won, he was going to fight Tom Aspinall after, a lot more people really wouldn't have cared about Stipe getting the shot. So yeah, that's really my logic for not putting it on the list. But without further ado, let's get into number one. Because coming in at number one, I have UFC 307 when Khalil Roundtree got the title shot against Alex Pereira. Not only coming into this fight did Khalil Roundtree not beat a single person inside the top 10, he also already had like 3 losses inside the UFC, so it's not like he was some crazy undefeated fighter. And then the cherry on top is the fact that Khalil Roundtree was originally booked to fight Jamal Hill as the co-main event on UFC 303 about 5 months before he got the title shot against Pereira, and he had to pull out of that fight against Jamal Hill because he took a banned substance and got suspended. So not only was he coming off a win against Anthony fucking Smith, he also was coming off a suspension when they gave him the title shot. And of all of the other entries on this list, I think this one had the most clear other contender who deserved the title shot in Magomed Ankalaev. So that one to me will always be the most undeserved title shot of all time. But as always, let me know in the comments what you guys think some of the most undeserved title shots are. And I will see you guys in the next one.